I mentioned the final goal because this project had many challenges in that the original intent was to build a best practice model, which we later discovered the client didn't have a data set to support this goal. The focus of the project was then shifted to a UI UX design. The client was excited to go down this path, but there were expectations and but the expectations and understanding of the process had to be carefully managed as they were kind of all over the place in what they wanted to see. In addition to that, the client had a very, very limited availability for us to meet and discuss the details of the project. But with the help of our talented project manager, Lynn Duggan, we were able to provide a UI UX design that the client absolutely loved. And therefore, I will hand it over to Lynn to discuss more in detail.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So as Karen mentioned, we started out thinking this was kind of like a data science focused, not data science, but a data focused project. And we were going to come up with, a visual solution for a UI. And as, they started down the road, found out that there really wasn't a good framework thought of for how this tool would even work. And let alone did they have the actual data to kind of think about delivery and how it would look. So rather than just kind of abandon the whole project, we shifted gears and pushed them. And as Karen mentioned, they were very excited to kind of get all their ideas sort of out there and into some kind of a structure that they could then take to other stakeholders and promote and possibly get more buy-in and get something developed around this tool. So we started out asking questions and kind of found out that they needed some help conceptualizing the entire thing. So rather than just run a standard UI challenge, we started out with an information architecture design direction challenge to kind of get the crowd involved and think about their users and what they thought they might have for data and see how it could best apply and best be used. This data that they had was really meant to help their people in the field and their project managers work more efficiently and work more safely than they had been. A lot of this stuff, the information they had wasn't being utilized, but was really critical to keeping everybody safe and on track and keep the projects moving forward. So anyway, so we had all of this stuff. We put this out to the crowd. I think we could go on to the next slide, into like a two-part plan. So our first challenge was really to talk about the users and their workflows and to have the crowd or our community really dig in and think about how these users might work. And we had just such amazing results with people's creativity, with thinking out of the box as far as how this user was really going to be working. I mean, we have drill operators in a field that needed to possibly be notified of some kind of incoming weather condition or some other factor that could affect their safety. And so the outcomes of our first challenge really gave us sort of ideas about how the flow could go from a project manager to a supervisor to an operator out in the field, what devices they might be using, what would be convenient for them, and what information was key to that user's role in the whole process. So we ended up with some great solutions, some visual representations and diagrams, great ideas about potential, wearable involvement with people using wearables instead of mobile devices, with people possibly using augmented reality kind of glasses and different things that were well beyond, and that really tapped into our clients' thoughts as well, because our clients had, ideas that were, all over the place, as Karen mentioned, really wanting to kind of just reach into every aspect of what they thought might happen in the future. And this first challenge really addressed their ideas and gave it some structure so we could move forward with more of the standard UI design challenge. And so they could have some visuals to show stakeholders later and other people in the industry to say, this is how a tool could look. So we took the outcomes from our first design direction challenge and used those as sort of the source for the second challenge, which was a large UI design challenge. So those designers, again, we can probably go to the next slide here, took our roles that were defined in this first challenge and developed potential UI designs based on all those requirements. So, we had a user who was in an office and he was a project manager, most likely at a desktop. And we had an entire set of screens developed for how he would most like to see this information. He's not in the field. He wants to plan and to know how these practices are going to be used to create a successful project in the future. So we had one flow. And then if you want to go to the next slide, we had another user who was defined in our first challenge. And that user is a little bit more mobile and they're a supervisor and they would be using a tablet. And they were concerned with much different things. This user was concerned with a day-to-day schedule and how they could make sure that the correct best practices for what they experienced were being included in the information that would be passed along to their people in the field who are actually needing the information. So you can see, like, for each of these, we had sort of this user defined and we had a lot of structure put around how this user would behave. So our designers were able to see what exactly needed to be on the screen, what needed to be in focus, what was the hierarchy that needed to be presented. And then if we go to the next,
Sorry, Lynn, may I ask a
Yes.
question?
Yes.
These are very detailed. How many series of challenges did it take to get to this final product?
We ran 2 very large challenges. So we had a large design direction challenge, which gave us that first set of structures, diagrams, workflows, descriptions about personas. And then our second challenge, again, was, I would say, on the brink of probably being too large to be a single challenge. It ended up being a very involved, in-depth challenge for UI design. So we limited the screen views per user, but we did have 3 personas that the designers looked at and designed onto 3 different device views. So it wasn't actually a responsive challenge, but it was targeted screens that had different device views based on their user.
That's fantastic. And what are the different form factors? Desktop, mobile, tablet?
We had a desktop, a mobile, and a tablet user.
That's amazing.
And the interesting thing is that in our initial design direction challenge, some of the solutions focused on, rather than a mobile device, focused on a wearable, or and although the client loved that idea and actually could see that being something to pursue in the future, they felt it was a little bit more illustrative for what they needed to see to show it on a mobile. So, we
Awesome.
had a lot of good ideas.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
You want me to go to the next slide?
Yep, the last slide is just basically kind of wrapping up. This was our 3rd user, and you can see how the design translated to then this user's receipt of the best practice information, how they could get alerts, how they could add to the feedback and respond. And so we had a super complete workflow through all 3 users, and you could see the flow. So you can see up on the right-hand side where, you know, initially we explored using either a mobile device or a smartwatch for this type of user. So anyway,
Fantastic.
thanks to the design community, we've really had an amazing, thorough, and very creative and innovative result. And the client was, you know, more than thrilled, even with their very limited availability to us. They were very happy to have this going forward.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you all really outdid yourselves. I mean, this is fantastic. 2 large design challenges, and you got this much output, and it looks fantastic. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Karen. Awesome job, you guys. And thank you, everyone that participated in this challenge series. All right, Janice, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. That was amazing, Karen and Lynn. Great story. And hello, everyone. I'm Janice Robelo. I'm a program manager at Topcoder, and my job entails making it easier for customers to crowdsource their technology needs. Before I go into the project, a little bit about the company. So Zurich Insurance Group is a Swiss-based insurance company. It is commonly known as Zurich. It's one of the largest global insurance companies in the world. In fact, it has around 55,000 employees who serve customers in more than 200 countries across the globe. Anyone would like to guess where the headquarters are based? Just post it in the chat. No special prizes for guessing. But this particular project I want to talk about is what we delivered for the Hong Kong business unit within Zurich Insurance. I'll be honest, it's a bit hard to make this project sound interesting, but follow my lead and you'll see.
I think we lost you. Sorry, Janice. I think we lost you for about the last 5 seconds. You want to just repeat that?
Sure. So I'm not sure where you lost me, but yeah, this project, I was talking about this project, which we did for the Hong Kong business unit. And it's a bit unglamorous, this project, but it has offered tremendous value to the client stakeholders and the huge difference it has made to their lives. So for the next 5-10 minutes, indulge me. Let's practice this imagination exercise where just forget who you are. Okay, you are now in the footsteps of the client. You are not a Topcoder employee or community member. You're not a cool coder, data scientist, designer, tester anymore. Think of yourself as a member of the information security, risk and compliance team. Okay. This team is a very critical part because they assess, they study the impact of threats and vulnerabilities when it comes to information systems within an organization. So though it does not directly help Zurich to sell insurance products, it's nevertheless very critical because a large insurance firm like Zurich has a lot of customer sensitive data. They have a lot of complex products. And that's where this team comes into picture, where they ensure that, they have proper compliance mechanisms in place, they have proper risk management mechanisms in place, so on and so forth. So you're a member of this important team. Yeah, still not fancy as being a Topcoder member, but still. On a monthly basis, you need to prepare a dashboard. Okay, it's called the APAC Information Security Dashboard, which is again the name of the project. This dashboard is a PowerPoint file. It provides stakeholders and other interested parties with key information about different risks. So these are something called as key risk indicators. It could be information around security incidents. It could be information around data loss protection. It could be, to identify how many times people have reached out to you saying that, oh, you have won free Bitcoins, or some exotic royal prince in some country has reached out to you for money or whatnot. So it kind of helps identify such phishing activities which has taken place. It kind of this kind of information is distributed to the different stakeholders. So this is the dashboard you're preparing. So it's very critical. It needs to be accurate, and it's no easy process. So there's currently around 83 different KRIs which you need to track. So as you prepare this dashboard, you collect data. The first step is always collecting data. So you reach out to different stakeholders, you extract data from different reporting systems, you analyze the data, you bring it together, you draft it, and you share it to your managers for review. If there is anything out of place, they provide comments. It comes back to you. You again incorporate those comments, and you prepare an updated dashboard and you send it again. So not easy, very tiresome. And this is done for 9 countries within APAC. So we are talking Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, so on and so forth. So the pain point here is a lot of time goes into preparing this dashboard, and you can imagine it now that you have to follow up with multiple stakeholders. You have to analyze the data yourself. You need to correct it yourself, and overall, it used to take around 7 days for each team member from each geography to prepare it. And that's where the Hong Kong team came to us, and they wanted Topcoder's help to prepare this streamlined solution of preparing this APAC security dashboard. Good. In this case, what happened then was we went back with a solution for them. Originally, what they had wanted was to hard code all of these 83 different KRIs, but the crowd came up with a promising solution of making it configurable. Why do you need to stick to these 83 KRIs? Let's say in the future, if you want to expand, you can expand it on your own. You can update it at any point of time. So enough of the talking. I'll just move on to the next slide to give you a visual of what the solution looked like. Yeah. So this is you. This is information. This is you updating this information. Earlier, you had to do it via email, via PowerPoint, via shared documents. But now there's this web interface where all the different stakeholders who usually contribute in the preparation of this project, in the preparation of this PowerPoint, can just use this application and update information. Now, there are 3 things which come into picture here. One is you can update the KRIs manually. Second is it extracts directly from different systems. And third is kind of a semi-automatic way where you have reports which you can upload directly. The key benefit over here is that you don't need to keep track of the different emails which come through or the different versions of dashboard which you were preparing in PowerPoint. This is a one-stop for all the different stakeholders across 9 countries. And they don't have to wait until the end of the month to see this as well. Whenever they want, they can jump in, update it. And their KRI value is updated every 15 minutes. It's updated every 15 minutes. So you don't have to wait for 30 days to check, oh, how many phishing emails were received last month. So this makes it much easier for the different members of the ISRC team to collaborate and to provide their inputs. If we move on to the next slide. Yeah. This is a view for the business information security officers or the managers or the security regional heads, where they can add their comments as well. Previously, they added it directly to the PowerPoint, but now they can just directly update it, add it over here. And you can also get a historical view of all the comments. So this entire time, energy, effort, which was spent in preparing this dashboard has all become kind of automatic. And there are a host of systems being used here, like React.js, Entity, .NET, SQL, Hangfire, Log4net. So this entire solution was built by the community within. And here's another interesting fact. So the original deadline for this was the customer wanted it by December end, but it was completed by November end. And by Jan, they could go live. And right now they are using this. And if we go on to the next slide. Yep. So this is a view of the reports which they can see. It adds tremendous value to the way they analyze reports as well, because now they can see all the historical data. They can slice and dice the data. They can see all the different outliers which are there, and they can take necessary action. So one is the enhanced accuracy because of this entire system coming into place. There is consistency because the KRI logic is the same for each different geography. And at the same time, there is this accessibility that whenever you want, you can check the data and you do not need to rely at the end of the month. So credit where it is due. This was possible due to the awesome Topcoder community. And I'd really like to call out Shakespeare, Veshu, Drastic Deepak, who were under the leadership of Girish, who made this all happen. The client was overall very happy with it, and they were very happy with the way Topcoder came up with suggestions. Like, for example, I'm again repeating this point, but initially, when they envisioned the solution, they thought that they'll hard code each of the KRI. They'll hard code the calculation for each of this metric. But the community came up with a way on how we can just configure it. So you need not depend on us every time, and just, use this tool to your benefit for time eternal, and get your boring tasks out of the way so that you can focus on more important things.
Hey, Janice, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how many screens did this end up being? And I think you had mentioned like there was 91 different types of data points that could be presented. Yeah. Did each of those have to be designed individually?
No, they were clubbed together. Like if you can see over here, within application security, this is like one of the main metric which was shown. And when you click on application security, there were some other KRIs which came into place. So it was somewhere around 8 to 10 for the Power BI dashboards, and another 8 to 10 for the data management interface, where you can input your data, where the different security officers could input their KRI information.
It's fantastic. And how long did this take to build?
So this took us around 2.5 months. And we had some dependency on the client, but overall it took 2.5 months. And glad you brought that up, because another point I wanted to add was we are dealing with the security team here. They are like the most strictest team you can imagine. And for them to use the crowd, for them to be comfortable with this way of working was a huge change in mindset for them as well. And yeah, glad. And yeah, awesome. Huge thank you to the Topcoder community for that.
Fantastic. Awesome job to everyone involved, to you, Janice, and to Girish, and all of the contributors on the design and development and QA community at Topcoder. Awesome job, y'all.
Yep. That's
cool. Anand, I'm particularly excited to hear about this one. I think a lot of the NASA projects that we do, and sometimes we work through NASA with other United States federal agencies, the work tends to be pretty cool. So Anand, why don't you take it away? Did we lose you? All right. We're gonna skip
Rashid.
ahead. Oh, hey. All right. Ready to go?
Thanks, Janice. That was a wonderful presentation. Hello, everybody. A warm welcome once again. So I'm going to talk about this project that we did with NASA and FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. So this was the first cross project at FAA, and I would really like to thank the Topcoder community because it required a lot of domain knowledge, and I would appreciate that the community would have been able to quickly grasp that and come up with a solution in a very short time. So going to the more details about the project. So m- am I audible?
Yeah, Anand, yes, please
Oh,
keep going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did this project with NASA and FAA NOTAP because there was an overwhelming demand from the aviation community to come up with an improved set of APIs so that they can improve the timely access to NOTAP and basically improve the machine-to-machine interface. So the scope of this project was to develop an API provider which would kind of consolidate the different NOTAM sources and provide the NOTAMs through a single source. So put it into the shoes of a pilot. So he's going for a flight, and he has to do a brain gymnastic of pulling out the NOTAM data from different sources. And many times the critical NOTAM information is hidden beneath, and this is a very safety critical data. So there was a huge demand from the aviation community to develop an API for that. So apart from that API developer, we also develop a kind of portal where the API services can be accessed to, and as well as it will help the FAA authorities to track the API usage. So this was a big project which ran for around 5 months with 21 contests and around 800 participants, and we paid around 57,000 to the community for their services. In terms of the advantage, so the biggest advantage that we had is that it matched with the theme at the FAA to develop an API for the community by the community. Apart from that, they were really impressed by the to see that concept to workable design in 10 days, and they have 23 design options to choose from. Apart from that, we develop high quality peer review code. We see participation from 51 countries, and it's estimated that about 1500 FTE hours have been saved. In terms of results, so the first thing is that since it kind of consolidates data from different sources and provides that through a single source, it would improve the timely access to NOTAMs, and that definitely will help in the safety of national airspace. Apart from that, with this advanced set of APIs, it would help the community to be creative and develop more user-friendly application. And then it also, since it's for the first crowd project at FAA, it helped to build more inroads at FAA and strengthen the domain knowledge of the community. So with that, let's move to the next slide. So a little bit more about the NOTAM API provider that we developed. So what basically NOTAMs are? So basically they are the safety critical alerts for the people associated with flight operations. And they are quite critical for the smooth operations. On one hand, as on the left side, as you can see, there would be various NOTAM originators. So there would be federal agencies, airport authorities, and they would provide the NOTAMs to different sources. So the one could be the NOTAM distribution services which FAA run. Then there could be temporary flight restrictions from various sources, and there are two other sources through which NOTAMs can be accessed. So the NOTAMs to be more, for example, a NOTAM can be that there is a temporary flight restriction because the satellite launch has to take place at a particular location, or there could be as small as a particular runway is non-operational for a particular kind of flight. So our API provider that we developed at Topcoder would consolidate data, NOTAM data from all the sources, and will do three things. So first of all, it will consolidate all the data, and then it will serve the data in three multiple formats. And on top of that, it will provide value-added services to slice and dice that data. And the consumers would be various applications and the mobile interfaces, and the end users would be the people associated with aviations like aviation and drone pilots. Moving to the next slide. So the on part two of this project, apart from API provider, we also developed the developer portal, which would act as a kind of a collaboration platform for the community to access the Nodem APIs. So suppose there is a JavaScript developer who needs to access those APIs. So he can go to the developer portal and he can subscribe those APIs. Apart from that, if he faces some errors, he can also get that resolved through this portal. And apart from that, he will get some ready references and examples from the developer portal to look to. Next slide. The second side of that developer portal is that it will help the authorities to track the API users so that they can see that who all are using the APIs and they can provide access to. And apart from that, if they want to stop any endpoints, they can also do that. So with that, I would say that I'm really thankful to the three co-pilots, Lunar Kid, Samir, and Wenbin, and the entire Topcoder community, and like I mentioned earlier, in this domain critical project, really grasp things very quickly and come up with solutions which really is all set to improve the safety of flights going forward. So really thanks everyone.
Awesome job, Anand, and thank you for everyone that has contributed to this project. It's a really cool, it's not the most exciting project, but I think it's really cool. So thank you, Anand. And today we're going to have Anand talk to, Sarab talk to us about the Kids Watch Ideation project. So this project is pretty cool in that it involves a wearable, and we don't do too many projects that involve wearables. So anytime we get the opportunity, I think it's pretty awesome. Sarab, you want to take it away?
Sure, Rashid, thanks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Kids Watch Ideation project. So we completed this project for T-Mobile, one of the telecom operator in United States and many European countries. Here, T-Mobile wants to develop a kids watch where the primary users are 5 to 11 years old. They initially had few ideas in their mind, like what type of applications they want in this watch, what features should be there. So one of the idea was to have an application which will help to promote exercise in kids. So they shared this idea with us and asked us, can we launch an ideation challenge with Topcoder Community? And after that, we started requirement gathering. We collected information on the hardware specification of the watch, the type of sensors used in the watch, how should we measure the steps and all. And with that, we prepared our challenge specification. Wendell was our co-pilot on this project. And we launched our first challenge. Our first challenge was Step Fitness Ideation Challenge. Initially, we launched this challenge in development track. Usually our design community doesn't look at the challenges from development track. But thanks to Vignesh, he suggested us that we should also promote this challenge to our design community. And after that, we promoted or marketed this challenge to design community in Slack channels and mails. And we got very good response there. So next slide, please, Rashid. Yeah, so this is the challenge data. After doing all promotions and all, we got 74 registrants and 11 checkpoint submissions. Our final submissions were 13 and we took 28 days to complete the challenge. So here we took 28 days because Client took a lot of time in reviewing the submissions, but the submission phase was only for 10 days. Total 11 countries represented. The client was very excited about this project, and after the checkpoint submission, he wanted to look at the questions from the community members on this challenge. So he registered for Topcoder, he registered for the challenge, and he himself started answering questions on the forum. So that was great. We got very good feedback on the checkpoint submissions. Proper feedback for each submission was provided by client for all the 11 checkpoint submissions. And then final 13 submissions, we selected IM Tong as a winner for this challenge. And he's from design community. So that marketing was a great idea. Next slide, please. Challenge awards, our first prize was $1,300, second $750, and third prize was $500. And beside this, we had 5 checkpoint awards worth $50 each. Next slide. Yeah, so this is the, Rashid, can you play the videos? Thank you. So this is the first place winner, the submission from I Am Tom. The idea was kids will have a virtual pet with them, and this pet will eat footsteps as their food, and they will grow up and they will become happy or sad based on the amount of steps they are fed. And the more steps are fed, the more happier they will be, the pets will be, and the more rewards they get. So after every few hours, they will get a notification that your pet is hungry, you need to walk, you need to dance, you need to run, and with that they will feed their pet, and the pet will grow and provide rewards. So beside this, we also suggested a leaderboard idea where parents can approve their kids' friends in the leaderboard, and they can compete with their friends, like how many pets they have, how many steps they covered that day, who is the winner for that week or for that month. You can see the leaderboard, and you can also see how many pet that kid has and how many other rewards he has. So this was the idea. Client was very much impressed, and after our first submission, first challenge itself, we got the second phase of this project, but I'll talk about it later. So next slide. Rashid, next slide, please.
Is it
Yeah, this one.
this one? Okay.
Challenge next to this challenge data was there. Yeah. So
All right.
our
Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. Our next challenge was camera app ideation. So client had an idea that we will have a camera in the watch, and the user can click selfies from the watch. So let's have an application which will where kids can show their creativity, where they can take pictures and do something with the pictures and send it to their friends and all. So with this idea, again, we launched a challenge, marketed to design community as well. And we got 43 registrants for this challenge, 8 checkpoint submissions, and 14 final submissions. Total 11 countries represented. And again, we took 30 days, but the submission phase was for 10 days only. We took a lot of time in reviewing, but a lot of submissions were there. So, okay, next slide. Challenge awards were similar to the first. Here we had 10 checkpoint submissions instead of 5. Next slide. This is the first prize winner submission. I Am Infinity was the winner for this challenge, and he named this application Pixie. So the kids can take selfies, they can decorate using text, filters, frames, and they can add different beautify filters and auto taller, bright eyes, enlarging, snowflakes. They can create emojis using pictures. This type of features were suggested, and the interesting thing about this submission was it was not just a plain PDF paper with some sketches. So the client was expecting that we'll just get a PDF and some sketches. But as you can see, our submitters provided mock designs, navigation, user navigation across the screens, and even the database designs. So the database tables which will be needed to implement these features was provided. So that was great, and it kind of impressed client. So this was the first phase of this project where we ran to ideation challenge. Our second phase, which I was talking earlier, was to develop a sliding keyboard. So the size of the watch is very small, and you cannot use a QWERTY keyboard in the watch. It would be very difficult to type the letters. So because of that, client came up with an idea that we'll have a sliding keyboard where the size of the keyboard will be a regular keyboard, and even the buttons for the letters will be regular size, but the user can slide the keyboard so that they can type easily. So this was the second phase. We completed that phase also, and now we are into third phase. Few days back, we got the requirement for the third phase, where we'll be developing some of these ideas. We are converting some of these ideas into the applications now. So soon you will be seeing challenges for our third phase to develop a Dino game and few other ideas for the camera. Thank you. That's all. And thanks to Topcoder Community.
Awesome. These designs look great. Do you know if the client is going to proceed with development?
Yes, a few days back we got the third phase of this project, and now we are working on developing this idea, some of these ideas in third.
Oh, that's fantastic. And do you know which design they're going to move forward with?
I am not part of the third phase, so I'm not sure. But Step Fitness, I think a Dino game is proposed.
Awesome.
Game is there.
Fantastic. Great job to you, Sir Rob, and everyone involved in the design of this this wearable mobile app. One of the cool things is when this goes live, it will go live for the third largest telecommunications company in the United States. So that's pretty awesome. Cool. So I think we're going to wrap up with some time to spare. Want to thank everyone for your time. Thank you for everyone involved in the projects, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Raj. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.